Hi Cancer, it's Kajora Lovely with your general reading for February 2019. Please keep in mind it is a general reading, so it may not resonate entirely with everyone, but you can check out your videos for your rising and moon sign as well. If you're curious, I am reading with the Illuminated Tarot. So let's see what's going on with you in February 2019. Okay. So where you are right now, this is the Emperor and it's the King of Swords, which relates to fire and air energy. So it's maybe a little, things may be feeling a little intense or strong right now. The Emperor is about feeling strong in your position, but sometimes also going after what you want. The King of Swords is very similar. In a way, though, the King of Swords is more mental, whereas the Emperor is more action-based because it's more about that Aries energy of going after what you want. King of Swords relates more to that thinking. Usually it relates to people who are judges, lawyers, in the military, that sort of thing, where it's a little bit more cerebral, but also action-oriented, that like you're getting stuff done. So that could be just the mode that you're in go mode. It feels like there's a little bit of maybe determination in a sense that doesn't necessarily feel like you, or that you don't really feel comfortable with. So this could also, I mean, it's you, this is you, so this is where you are. And maybe it's just that you've been pushed in this position and you don't really want to be there, however this applies. Because I feel a little unease with this. And what's influencing you at this particular moment is the Two of Wands. Now, this is about planning and figuring out where you want to go. So that actually makes sense with those two together, that you're in planning mode for something. You're moving something forward right now. What's also on your mind, this is the Hangman and the Two of Swords. So those two are about, the Hangman is about changing your perspective and getting a broader view of things. And also getting something's influencing your view. Either you're starting to see things clearly or something's blocking your view. It could go either way. And also there's a decision that's being made with the Two of Swords. Sometimes that means that you're in a deadlock. You are not really sure what you want to do. And that means that the changing your viewpoint will change your mindset, or influence your mindset, will help you see something or help you make a decision. What I'm hearing is trust your decision, trust your own guidance. Let me see. Let me pull another card on that one. Oh, okay. The Magician and the King of Wands. So with this, it's remembering that all things are possible and that you can create whatever you want in your life. This is about your manifesting power, that whatever you speak can come into existence. So it's also sometimes a cautionary tale that if you speak it, it can happen. So it can also mean being careful about what you want, careful about what you wish for, and what you can create in the process. And the King of Wands also relates to creativity and action. It's the fire element. So again, kind of relating to that Aries energy. But I feel like it's more of a gentle influence. It's sort of more a reminder for you that you can make anything you want. So when you feel like you're stuck, or you feel like you don't know what to choose, you can decide. So even if that means finding a middle ground, you can create that outcome if you want. And if you don't see a way to do that yet, I'm hearing find time to make it happen. So that could even mean brainstorming and coming up with alternative options, of taking the time to think about it clearly, about how you can work around it. And then even, because when you're not thinking about something, your subconscious is actually trying to solve that problem. So even if you literally try to shut it out of your mind and say, okay, I've gone through all the options, then you can do something else. And then while you're doing something really mundane, like taking a shower or vacuuming, you might suddenly get a hit of inspiration and come up with a solution, because it's usually in those moments where your brain isn't focusing on something that inspiration can come in. So just something to keep in mind. What's sort of the base of what's going on with you right now? This could be a relationship. It is February, after all, month of Valentine's Day. This is the Lovers and the Six of Cups. So this relates to a relationship, a decision, or children, your childhood, or your past. You know, pick one, or all of them if they all apply to you. But it means that there's something in there that's influencing you right now. And again, it could be that making that decision with the Two of Swords there. So let's see if they have any suggestions or advice with this one and how it applies to your life. Ooh. This is the Five of Swords. Someone might be being deceitful. You might feel like something's being taken from you, or has been taken, if it relates to your past. And this could be any point in your past, not necessarily your childhood. In the future, you've got something with dealing about a past heartbreak, or for some reason I keep hearing delusion. So it could be something that didn't go the way that you wanted. But it feels like this isn't a theme that's coming up for a lot of people. So I'm guessing that with this, the Chinese New Year, which goes the New Year by the new moon, is on February 5th. I feel like a lot of people are cutting karmic ties because it's the end of a 12-year cycle. So if that applies to you, you might be having a lot of random memories come up, or people who pop up out of the woodwork, or even just things that you're thinking about. Any of those things are trying to help bring you closure. And there's an opportunity for closure there. In some cases, you may have to be the bigger person if someone's reaching out that you really don't want to talk to, or you may feel the need to reach out to someone else in order to say, you know, I just want to end this chapter. This is a phase that's ending. And if in any way, shape, or form, this sort of underhandedness, manipulation that relates either to a relationship or your past, or your childhood, or a child, however it applies, or a past relationship, maybe with a child involved or not, you're meant to focus on yourself moving forward. This is the Jack of Wands, and that's usually about focusing on what excites you, what interests you, and focusing on your career. It's also about firing up your ambition. So I feel like it's a matter of, there's some healing in here that has to go on, because where you are right now too, you have the moon, which is about going inward and doing some internal work. So this can be journaling, it could be walking, it could be meditating, it could be going to a therapist, you know, however that looks like for you. And you can always experiment with different aspects if you're not sure. I find walking is a good way to have feelings brought up, because you have that time and that space, again, to let those things come up. Same with writing, especially even if you sit there for a little while without saying anything, you can just let inspiration come in and see if there's anything you want to vent about, release, try to understand. If you write about a situation, see if something starts to come to you, again, seeing it from different perspectives, because what's influencing you at this particular moment is a transformation that you're resisting. And that makes sense, because once again, leading into this month, and then we are with the year of the pig, it's ending a 12-year cycle since 2007. So we're coming into very new energy. And the energy's been intense since, 2012? So there's a lot to go through, to heal, to let go of, to release. And change is coming. I hate to say it, change is scary, but in the near future, you have an ending coming up and a spiritual awakening. This is also an epiphany, a realization, some kind of awakening of some sort. And it makes sense that you have these other aspects that are kind of nudging you. This is that fire energy again with these two cards, the King of Wands and the Jack of Wands, also the Magician here. It's reminding you, change is happening. You will be pushed to go inward, but you have the opportunity to really make some powerful things happen for yourselves right now. Because at the in the future, you've got you here with the Chariot. This is the card for Cancer. So things are moving forward in the future. you are going to be moving into a place of feeling a lot of emotional security and fight and abundance. And I think that planning right now will help with those feelings that you have. But it looks like there are some things that you may need to let go of in the meantime. And again, with this one, I just keep hearing journaling with the moon. This is that card about doing inward and internal work. It can even be writing about, because what I'm hearing is what scares you. And that can be a variety of things, you know, not necessarily like a fear of spiders, but when it comes to feelings about success, about romance, about travel, about love, about friendship, about hoping for the best outcome. You know, when it comes to the things that you really want in life, what is it that you really want? What's holding you back? And also, how can you get there? I feel like those are the main questions, because you've got this reminder that you can create what you want for yourselves. You really have a lot of power right now. And since you've got this upright, your card, Chariot, this means things are moving forward. This also relates to Yang energy, which is very active. It's very much moving forward. So I take that as things are moving forward. There's not a lot of hesitation that's going to happen in the future. So you've got to get things going. And so I guess the question I would pose to you to think about is this. If you know that things are moving forward and you don't necessarily have a choice, you can't really stop it. Right now you might be resisting this transformation, but it's going to happen at some point. And you know that you're leading to a new future. What kind of future do you want? What do you really want for yourself? When you wake up in the morning, where do you want to live? Who do you want to have with you? What do you want to do? Who do you want to see? How much money are you making? What are you spending your money on? What are you planning for in the future? With you guys this month, I really feel that there is a lot of active energy that you can tap into at this time, and you can really create whatever you want for yourselves. It's really possible. I feel like sometimes when there's other sounds like my cats, it's validating that message. So I think it's really, if you knew that you could have whatever you wanted, what would your ideal life be like? And you can write that down. If you, new moons are a great time, but also in a waxing moon, which is from the 5th to, I believe, the 19th or 20th. I'd say the 20th, which is the full moon in February. So you've got about 15 days there to really think about what it is. And you can even add to the list and go back to it. But I would say to keep it out and look at it, even while you're brushing your teeth or getting dressed or doing something, where you're putting those thoughts in your head and you're also telling the universe, this is what I want. I want to make this happen, because you have this opportunity to fire up your ambition and focus on yourself. You know, if you could have your highest career goals, what would they be? It's a really, really big time. And I feel like with these epiphanies and realizations that are coming, you might be getting some aha moments, because too, I find when you sit down and really think about it, sometimes what sounds nice, you may not really want in reality. So it's also being honest with yourselves about what you want and what feels good, because then you can also sit and meditate with it, or just, lay down or sit in a chair, close your eyes, and kind of walk yourself through the visualization and notice how you feel. And really focus on that feeling, because it's a matter of moving yourselves into that feeling. And then you'll know when you're there, you can get yourself closer to it. So right now it's really about this manifesting power. So as far as the end of the future card, well, it's not the end of the future, but this is the not too distant future. You have the Queen of Cups here, which is also the Empress. So this is about emotional mastery. This is about empathy, tapping into your emotions through your feminine side, because we all have feminine and masculine within us. And also the Empress relates to the feminine energy of growth, fertility, and abundance. Not necessarily just having babies, but but it's creation, being able to create things. So as you're thinking about what you want to bring into the world, what is it what are your literal and metaphorical babies, basically? What are your project babies? What are your company babies? What are your hobby babies? What is it that you want to see in the world? What do you want to bring to other people? or even to yourself just to have. It's something that could be a personal passion of yours, but it's something that you want to bring forward and have around you, because the Empress is where the place where everything grows. So it's about tapping into your own energy, and it relates to the sacral chakra, which is right under your belly button. And the color for that is orange. So for some of you, you may want to do some meditations that relate to that. If this resonates, and I suggest that, you can find a lot on YouTube. And then some of them are 15 minutes, some of them are 3 hours. So you can even put it on in the background while you're coming up with ideas. And I'm also getting that some of you may want to either get or use carnelian, which is a crystal that relates to that. If you don't necessarily have to get it. I'm not one of those people who thinks that you have to have crystals. I mean, I have some, but that's me. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. If it does, that's great. But you can also just focus on that area and orange energy, because that's where everything, ideas, inspiration, life, creativity, all that fertility comes from. Okay, well, I'm very excited for you for this month. So have a wonderful February, Cancer, and I will see you again next month.